Hello everybody, welcome back to the Food and Drink Chronicles. Today we're at Oscar Blues in Austin, Texas for the North Central area for the Barks for Beers. I got the 1050, which is a Imperial Stout Double, 10.5% alcohol by volume, and Celeste got the Oscar's Lager,
which is a pretty light beer. It's only 4.5 ABV, so very light.
It's a good beer, very good flavor to it. I mean, it's a stout, tastes like a stout for sure. Very dark beer. So if you're not into dark beers, I don't recommend this one, but I really do like the flavor. It's got kind of like a coffee sort of flavor to it in a way. What's yours like?
It's just a very light beer.
Ah, it's the lager.
So it's just
tastes like a Yingling. So we did order some food. We're just waiting for the food to come out. We ordered some, loaded fries?
Loaded fries and some rolled tacos.
Yeah.
So we're going to be sharing that food. Hopefully it comes out soon.
Yep.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
These loaded fries have carne asada, cheese, guacamole, sour cream, cilantro, onions, tomatoes. It's a whole meal.
I can barely get to the fries. So if you're hungry, this is the place to come to.
Yeah. If you need to carb up before hitting all the breweries that are around here, which are like, what, 4 or 5, just in like within a half-mile radius, like come up here, get you some loaded fries, and you will be good.
Oscar Blues was cool, but now we're on to the next brewery. We're at our next stop, which is 4th Tap Brewing. We're gonna go check this place out. Just got invited to the back area of the brewery. We're gonna go check it out.
Yeah, happy to answer any questions. I can run through the entire brewing process if you guys want, but if you've seen one brewery tour, you've kind of seen them all. So basically the way the brewing process starts is we start with our grains, and our grains typically come from Germany, England, the US, and Canada, depending on the beer we're doing. We do like using a lot of Ironman malts. Ironman is a German maltster. We find the quality of their base malt to be exceptional, so we really like those. But yeah, during the start of the brew day, what will happen is the brewer's going to take these grains, 50-pound bags. He's going to run it through the rad red mill over here. You see that in the back. So the grain's going to fall through there. It's going to get crunched up into about 1 millimeter diameter, like granules. There's an auger at the bottom. You see that kind of like white pipe in the background there. That auger is going to carry that grain all the way up over to that top vessel you see over the mash tun bulk. The top vessel is known as a grist case. And so during the brew day or the day before, what will happen is we're mashing all the grains, we'll get it set up in the grist case, and on the brew day, it's going to open the valve, the grain's going to fall down, and it's going to mix with the warm water. As I said, the grains are going to fall down, they start mixing with warm water, and that's what's known as the mash. So during the mash, they'll sit in there for about an hour to about 90 minutes, depending on the recipe, maybe even a little bit longer. And that's the process of where the starches are going to convert into sugars. So once the grains hit the warm water, there's a lot of alpha amylase and beta amylase that are on like the husks of the enzyme of those grains, and that's what converts the starches into sugars. Once that process is complete, we do a process called sparging, where we kind of wash all those sugars off and we transfer it into the boil kettle. Once in the boil kettle, it's going to boil for about 60 to 90 minutes, again, depending on the recipe. And that's where we're going to add our hops, add our rosemary, add any other ingredients we have for the beer. That's when it gets added. Once that process is done, it goes ahead and gets piped to that massive radiator you see in the front there.
Yeah.
Where it rapidly cools down to 68 degrees Fahrenheit as we transfer it over to one of these fermenters. As it's being transferred, we also inject yeast during that process as well, so it gets yeast injected inline. Once it's in one of these fermenters over here, it's going to spend about like 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the recipe. Higher alcohol beers take longer to ferment, so Like I right now have a super non-German chocolate cake. That's going to take like about 4 weeks. It's a high ABV beer, so it takes longer to ferment.
Nice.
Once it's done fermenting, and we do any dry hopping for IPAs and that sort of thing, we're going to go ahead and pipe it over into one of these bright tanks. Bright tanks are where the beer gets carbonated. You guys can keep following. So in a bright tank, the beer is going to get carbonated. It's also where it's going to get fined. When I say fined, I mean we inject a fining solution. We use biosilica that essentially gathers up any heavy particulates and helps it sink to the bottom. And so when you look at a bright tank, you'll notice that there is a false bottom. We always pull beer from that middle port there because we don't want any of the detritus that is kind of falling to the bottom. That's stuff we don't want in our beer. It's not that it would be bad for you, it would just make the beer taste a little bit different. And we want like the highest quality beer. So if you look at a beer and it's very bright, like the beers you have, you can see right through them, right? That's because we've done fining and we kind of cold crashed the product. We don't have any filtering in here, so any fining you see is done just through this process. Once that's done, we can either keg directly from the bright tank, or if we're going to be doing canning, we run it through our canning line over here. So this is a Wild Goose canning line. It's all American made. We run this about once a week, and that's how you see all the cans on shelves. All of it was done here locally by about 4 people running each canning line. It's a lot of work. Packaging is the hardest thing to do in a brewery. We can get a little closer. Yeah, so typically on a canning day, what will happen is they'll load up a pallet of cans up at the base here. They'll get shifted to the top. Those cans will get shifted onto the conveyor belt, where they'll run into that twist rinse right there. That's where sanitizer will get injected into them. They'll hang out there for a little bit, then they'll twist over, the sanitizer will fall down. Then they move on into the actual filling stations. The first 4 heads are going to inject CO2 into the cans, which is going to purge any oxygen that are in the cans. We don't want any oxygen. Oxygen's going to spoil the product, right? The next 4 heads that have food-grade silicone, that's where the beer actually comes in. And then past that, it's going to get a lid. We don't have it set up right now, but there would be a seamer right after that would seam the can, and then it would go into a rinsing station to rinse the can, and then a human has to put it into a 6-pack, and then they have to carry it over into like waiting cases.
Cool.
Behind this, which you can kind of barely see, is our old pilot system, which we actually still use today. I don't have any pilots on tap right now because pilots tend to run out Friday and Saturday. We only do about 10 gallons at a time, but it's like right back here. You guys can step a little closer to it, I promise. Nothing's going to bite you. But yeah, we had 2 of the Blickmans up on the brewing pad over there. I only have 1 Blickman up here, but that is a system we built over like 12 years ago, and we still use it today.
This little pressure canner.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, here also we do free comedy shows like every other week. We also do live music out here as well. So what'll happen is we have those stanchions, we'll cordon off like everything that people shouldn't touch, and then yeah, we built this stage so that people could have live music out here.
Nice.
But yeah, so I just wanted to give you guys a quick tour.
I got an Amber Ale, which is a Can You Dig It?
Can you dig it? And I don't even know what I got. Sound check. I got the sound check. Sound check's pretty good. It's really crisp. It's good for this type of weather because it is hot outside. We just did the brewery tour. It was pretty hot in the brewery, but it was still really cool to see it though. It was awesome. We had a great time checking it out. Well, special thanks to the co-founder for
D.
Yeah, D. Thank you, D, for letting us check out the backstage of the area.
Yes, we
it's really cool.
appreciate it. So this is our second stop for today for Barks for Beers, North Central. We did visit Willard's, which is also part of the North Central area, even though it's like way out in Pflugerville. So technically this is our 3rd stamp in the North Central area. And we're gonna hit up 2 more today. At least 2 more today. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
And they have a food truck here too. It was closed today, but I took B-roll of the menu in case you come here and you want to order something. But something really cool that Dee was telling us was that they rent out their back space for different events. So if you want to stop by for a birthday or something, you can do that here.
So something really cool here, just behind me, there's a little gaming area, and the TV kind of has like that retro sort of look to it. Pretty neat. I don't know, maybe I'll take some time and try to do some gaming. Cheers! We got beer shots.
Sorry.
There you go. Are we supposed to chug the whole thing?
That was your shot time.
I don't know. This is an IPA, so it's pretty strong. Wow. So they do beer shots here. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, go for it. Or whatever you're into.
I don't know if I can drink the whole thing right now. That's pretty cool. They said, you know, they looked at their watch and they said, hey, it's beer shot time. So we got some beer shots. Alright, we are on our way to Circle Brewing. On to the next brewery. Alright, we are now at Circle Brewing. Yeah, we got the Blur. The Blur. So the Blur is a Hefeweizen. And you were saying that it tastes like bananas? Yeah, bananas.
It tastes like bananas. Have you tasted it?
No, I haven't tasted it yet.
So recently we found out that a Hefeweizen has bananas and clove in it. And now every time that I have a Hefeweizen, it tastes like bananas.
It does taste like bananas. It doesn't taste like tomato juice anymore. It tastes like bananas. I don't taste the cloves. I definitely taste the bananas. It makes me like it even more. So there is a beer called banana beer, and now I'm kind of skeptical. Like, is banana beer or is banana beer Hefeweizen? I guess it's Hefeweizen. It's not banana beer. I mean, you can call all the Hefeweizen banana beer, but it's just Hefeweizen. I'm enjoying it. So
I like this one. It's one of my favorite Hefeweizen, along with Sud Monkeys. Sud Monkeys Hefeweizen was really good too.
it was really good.
Yeah.
And this is our 16th stop for the Barks for Beers.
Yeah.
Not all in one day. We're taking our time.
It's been, 15 days since we started?
Yep.
And it's been about half a month. So taking it slow, but hopefully we'll be able to finish it.
Yep, we got 14 more breweries to go. So again, stay tuned. That's it for Circle. We're gonna walk over to Hopsquad. It's just a walk away. All right, we got the dough squad here. This is how we dough it. Alrighty, so we got, we're gonna try these beers right now. This is the Dark Schwarz Bier. It tastes like coffee, it's pretty good. It's got a very robust coffee flavor to it. It's almost like you're drinking, maybe like a nitro cold brew in a sense. That's what it reminds me of. Like, definitely like coffee. So, if you don't like coffee, you may not like this, but if you do like coffee, you're on the dark side of coffee, you're gonna love it. And I love it.
Did you say the dark side of coffee?
The dark side of coffee.
And I got the, what was it, Pepitos Pepino, I think is what it was called.
Yep. Cucumber wheat ale.
It's a cucumber basil wheat ale. And I can really taste the basil. Like, it just reminds me of like a garden drinking it.
Oh wow. It's like, tastes like a herb garden.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It tastes like cucumbers and basil. And that's exactly what it tastes like.
Yeah, it tastes just like a smoothie or a juice. There we go. It tastes just like a juice with mint and cucumber. It's really good.
This place is interesting. Hopsquad, who would have known? Do you want to try my Coffee beer? It tastes like coffee beans.
Sure.
I want to try this one again. That is interesting.
Wow.
Tastes like a coffee bean?
Yeah. That's exactly what it tastes like a coffee bean.
Yeah.
Not in like the bitter sense of the word, but like more of like the smell. Like whenever you go to Starbucks and you smell the coffee beans that are like on top of whatever machines they use at Starbucks, that's what it smells like. I mean, that's what it tastes like. It tastes like the smell.
Tastes like the smell.
Yes.
This is just part one of our North Central Barks for Beers. On this list, we still have to go to Adalbert's Brewery, Black Star Co-op, and the Brewatorium. We'll catch you on the next one. Be sure to like and subscribe. Food and Drink Chronicles out.